looks so fucking blurry. Hang on. Hang on there. Give it a second. Oh yeah, that made it much better. What's so weird is I was just doing a TikTok live stream and it looked fine. I don't know why it all of a sudden got blurry like that. All right, to get started, we shall have a sip of our mango margarita because that is what we do when it is hot as balls in Los Angeles. Oh my God. I don't have swamp nuts. I have sweat in the swamp nuts. Like the little tiny droplets of sweat have sweat in their sweat droplets. That's how fucking hot it is out here. But duty calls. Oh, that is much better. Wow. I think I made one of these yesterday. Yeah. So the problem was it was just poorly mixed. I needed a lot more margarita mix, and then I also needed to blend it better. So this is much better. Wow. Oh yeah. I gotta be careful with that. That's a very, very easy way to get drunk with a drink that sweet. So, South Park. Who's watching the new season? Boy, they came out with a bang, didn't they? Perfectly timed. With the censorship regime from the Trump Snowflake White House trying to... I mean, they did. They canceled Colbert, right? Because total corruption. They told Paramount either get rid of this guy or you don't get your merger. That's what it came down to. And they leaned on him, and because the executives in this industry, and basically every industry, are all chicken shit cowards. I was seeing something on Twitter, I think it was, where these people, these executives in charge of Paramount, right? These university losers at Columbia and Brown in charge of these universities, and these tech giants like Apple, Zuckerberg, Bezos, right? All these people are incredibly rich. They've got fuck you money, and yet they never tell someone, hey, fuck you. The only people they ever use their fuck you money on to tell fuck you is when they have to get a woman to sign an NDA for sexual harassment. Like, that's the only time they seem to use their fuck you money. Anyway, tangent. So, Trump leans on Paramount, they cancel Colbert, and the South Park guys came out swinging. And Paramount is, I believe, is kind of the parent company over Comedy Central and South Park as well, right? So good for them for coming out and just saying, "Oh, you think you're gonna take away our First Amendment rights? Yeah, that's cute. Do you know who the fuck we are? We're Trey fucking Parker and Matt motherfucking Stone. You ain't taking away our shit, okay?" And I just think that is amazing that it came out just swinging with all those pictures of Trump, and all these phallic things in between his legs, and then they show him with a really tiny penis, and then of course they use the Saddam voice. I mean, and Satan, and he's in the bed. And nah, come on, guy. No, Saddam. I just need to know if you're in the Epstein files or not. Relax, guys. Not a big deal. Just relax. So, good for them for coming out swinging, having such a strong point of view, and not being willing to back down. Kazid, I say hi as well. Welcome. So, now that they went after Trump, and now that they also went after, who's the dog murderer? Oh, Kristi Noem. That's right. Now they've gone after her. It's interesting to see all these MAGA morons switch all of a sudden. They can do it. They literally have a button in their brain they just press, and they go from loving the NFL to hating the NFL, right? They go from loving Nike to hating Nike. And they go from loving veterans to hating veterans because now they're speaking out against Trump. They go from loving Trump because he's all about releasing the Epstein files to hating Trump because he's against the Epstein files. It's unbelievable to see the rapid change. So they used to love South Park, and now, because they're coming out against Trump and Kristi Noem, now they're throwing the shit fits that they always do. I mean, how many times do we have to see this? It's all fake outrage. I mean, are they actually peeved? Sure. But it's just more of their culture war shit. And the fact that it's just surrendered so easily. We went through this last time when Musk wanted to buy Twitter and turn it into a Nazi propaganda machine, which is exactly what it became. The left was completely silent. They just rolled over, let it happen, right? And now we're seeing the same thing with Colbert getting canceled, and we're seeing now South Park is in the MAGA mobs crosshairs. And where's the left? What are they doing? Oh, sure, Schiff and Padilla went on Colbert. Yeah, fucking good for you guys. You made an appearance to use some words. You're senators, motherfucker. Maybe use that power to, do something, anything at all. It's just so frustrating how the left gets this power, these opportunities, and then they never use them for good, right? Like, could you imagine a Spider-Man, like, seeing a flaming building, and rather than leap into action and save the people in the flaming building, he's just like, oh man, geez, all these people, but if I go in there, what if I make it worse? Oh man, my uniform is flammable. I could combust and then catch other people, and my web fluid, it's like super toxic. If it like gets into a gas form, everyone's gonna die before the flames even get to them. Man, I gotta just stand here and watch as the house burns down. That's what the left is doing. That's what all these fucking Democrats and liberals do every time. So, and it says a lot that the left gets targeted a lot by South Park. They've gone after Al Gore. They've gone after Hillary. I believe they went after Greta Thunberg and some other activist like her that I can't think of. But they go after them. And then, okay. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but where's the fucking outrage? You don't have people on the left. There's not this huge movement to cancel these shows. It's the same thing way back when. This must have been about 20,000, Jesus. If we ever make it to the year 20,000. 2017, there was a play of Julius Caesar, right? And they do it every year, and it features whoever's in the White House at the time. So, Julius Caesar, they had Trump as Caesar, because that's the way it goes. And if you know what happens to Caesar, that happened to Trump, because that's just the parody of it, of the story. And then the right wing lost their collective fucking one brain cell, right? They freaked out. And they, well, if this had happened to Obama, you guys would have been freaking out too, okay? Fun fact, it had happened to Obama. They had the Caesar play with Obama, and he got, because he was Caesar, and we all know what happened to Caesar at the end of his life, and no one gave a shit. Every single time we see these fucking snowflakes on the right throw these shit fits over these stupid culture wars that are pointless and nonsensical and used just to distract. Because, of course, Trump wants to talk about anything else other than the Epstein files, which is great on South Park for making the Epstein files such a central thing of their show, of these episodes. But at the same time, it's just a distraction. And, of course, the corporate media, because they're in on it, and the corporate media, by the way, is the enemy, they want to push that story, right? They want to make that the talking thing for the next news cycle of the week, rather than talk about the Epstein files, which more and more stuff keeps coming out on that. We'll come back to that. So in regards to the outrage cycle that we keep seeing, right? Sydney Sweeney, same thing. They had like a few days worth of coverage of the MAGA mobs saying, oh my god, people are so upset about Sydney Sweeney. They're so weak. They're such snowflakes. They're such losers. She's just so beautiful, and they're just jealous because she's now a registered Republican. And the whole time this controversy was unfolding, I was like, I can't think of any liberal that's upset. I mean, like, I follow a lot of high-profile liberal commentators and pundits and analysts, whatever you want to call them. And I couldn't think of a single one that was making it an issue. And yet again, there was a deep dive on it. New York Times finally got off their ass and, did of the journalisming and dove into it and found out, yeah, it was like a couple of random fucking Twitter accounts that the right wing seized on, and they tried to make that the main narrative. And the corporate media, as well as the New York Times when it first happened, fell for it hook, line, and sinker. It is total astroturfed political outrage because it's not real. It's fake. And every single time the corporate media falls for it. Every single time. And at some point, they're no longer these naive bystanders. They are complicit participants in the downfall of our democracy. So it's just what it comes back to. It goes even deeper than just MAGA wanting to distract from the Epstein files, because Trump is in the Epstein files and he's obviously hugely implicated in those. He was told as much by Pam Bondi back in, what was it, March, May, something like that. So more than just the distraction that they need, it goes back to this just incredibly weak psyche that these MAGA snowflakes have, right? They had to create an entire fake reality where doctors, nurses, scientists were all against them because it was about population control. And if we stay at home, then we can't go outside. And if we can't go outside, we can't reproduce, even though we actually reproduce inside. So by telling us to stay inside, we could have had more sex and been having more babies. But it's all a conspiracy, man, to control the population. As if they were going outside to fuck in their car anyways, you know? What do they have? A fucking tarp that they're going to put over their goddamn poorly mown lawn in fucking rural Alabama? Fuck off. Come on. That shit was not happening. If anything, they wanted to increase the population by making y'all stay indoors with your significant other. You probably could have been doing more fucking. But the sad fact is that the people that are married to these MAGA morons or in relationship with these MAGA morons, they don't want to be anywhere fucking near them. That's why they wanted to get outside, because neither of them wanted to be around each other. So it goes down to this whole need to be oppressed. This feeling that MAGA is oppressed over the fucking tiniest of things. God forbid you be asked to stay at home for a month or 2 or 3 so that, you know, grandma and grandpa won't die. Oh, yeah. What a horrible fucking ask. And you were getting paid to stay at home? You were getting paid to stay at home, and you couldn't do that so that other people could live, so that a child with an immune disorder could live. Fuck these people. They're terrible, and they're fucking evil, and they're selfish, and they're going to be a downfall of this country if we don't stop them. Anyway, this desire and need of theirs to be oppressed, it's amazing because you look at what people of color get oppressed with, right? Black folks get shot just by staying in bed. That shit actually happens. By sitting on their porch, they get shot. You know, walking down the street, they get shot. Going for a jog, they get shot. That kind of shit happens all the time. And yet, that is what actual oppression is. And MAGA is trying to say they're oppressed because they're asked to wear a cloth mask over their face. Get shot for existing, not oppression. Wear a 4x4 cloth mask over your face so you don't kill others, oppression. Right. Got it. I mean, they just have this oppression complex where they have to actually commit treason so that then they can say, oh, I'm oppressed. Oh, the government is coming after me. Yeah, bro. You tried to overthrow the fucking democracy. You did a treason. No fucking shit. And then the other thing that's even more amazing is they get a complete get-out-of-jail-free card by the treasoner-in-chief himself. And they're still going on about how they're being oppressed. And then you find out that all these January 6th pedophiles and terrorists, terrorists are pedophiles and rapists. And wife abusers, and a whole laundry list of crimes of these evil, evil people. And they want to say they're being oppressed because they chose to rape children. That's on you guys, fellas. And frankly, they do belong in jail. And with any goddamn justice, we need to make sure we get them. All those January 6th terrorists need to be locked the fuck back up. Lock them up! Lock them up! Wow, that is really well mixed. And so here's another thing that came up recently. Jared Wise, who was one of the January 6th terrorists, and he was out there and he was telling the MAGA terrorists to, quote, kill them all. He said this to the January, this is on record by the police, by the feds, by his own statements, in record that he said this. It's on tape, right? And he's saying that to the MAGA terrorists to go after the Capitol Police. Now, after this guy's, little treason escapades, he's now working for the Justice Department. It is a complete and total perversion of justice in this country. And again, liberals need to stop fucking cowing down to this shit. If this is the kind of extremism that the right can get away with, then I want the dude who has a Luigi Mangione fucking sweater collection. He's got a Labubu saying the Bolsheviks did nothing wrong. That guy is who needs to be the next attorney general. I'm not even fucking kidding. We cannot continue to give up power to these fascists who will do all this horrible shit, and then our version of it is Merrick fucking Garland, the fucking dude who sits on his hand to wank off and call it the stranger. That dude? Fuck that. He sat on his fucking hands and did nothing. And look at where we are now. So yeah, they need to actually go for the fucking jugular with the next people they nominate. So that's just one example. And of course, the Epstein files are not going away. More evidence keeps coming out every single day. This footage of Trump judging at a modeling contest for girls as young as 14. And he's up there judging. That's fucking disgusting. I've said it before, but who in the fuck are these parents? Of course, they're mostly in the South. But these parents should fucking be... I don't know the term for not being able to procreate, but they should not. If you're putting your children in these kind of scenarios, that's just fucking wrong. It's just wrong. And of course, this is where so going back to what we were saying, right, with the Sydney Sweeney thing, with the South Park thing, it's all a distraction to keep us away from the Epstein files. And then they sent out all these subpoenas to, I think to Hillary, to Bill Clinton, to Comey, to a whole bunch of other people. Yet, surprisingly enough, they didn't send a subpoena to Alex Acosta, the very same guy who gave Epstein his sweetheart deal. Fun fact about that sweetheart deal, after Epstein did all this horrible shit and was finally getting some accountability in jail, the dude was able to leave jail for the entire day. He only had to come back to jail to sleep. So he could go back into the city, he could shop, he could meet friends, he could go to his own place. All he had to do was come back to the jail by 9, 10 p.m. at night. That was it. That is not justice. And yet, no interest in finding out why Alex Acosta did that. And again, talking about the Epstein files I went full Tucker Carlson there for a minute. I was like, there's no questions about why Alex Acosta gave him that sweetheart deal. No one's asking if Alex Acosta was somehow implicated with Epstein. Was he doing something with Epstein? Was he on the island? Did he go to the plane? I don't know. I'm just asking the questions. There's never any interest in what in the fuck happened to make Alex Acosta abandon justice that fucking much for someone so despicable, so evil, that did the worst crime known to man, in my opinion, and so caught dead to rights, red fucking handed, with an entire band of victims speaking up and saying that this is not right and you should not give him this deal, and he went ahead with it anyways. Also, if you look at Alex Acosta, he's fugly as fuck. So if anyone with a mug like that, I think if he had a reason to be on that island. Do we know that for certain? No. And you know what? But that's the thing. Maybe that's why they're not calling him. Is that why they're not calling? I'll go do Tucker. Is that why they're not calling him? Because as an ugly man, he couldn't get laid by women his own age. Women his own age hated him. They despised him. They saw his face and they ran from him and they said, I have to get away from this man. But for someone like him, who may have ties to Epstein's or may not, I don't know, I'm just asking questions, it's possible that the only way for him to get laid was to go to the Epstein Island. Is that what happened? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. But something happened to make him abandon justice like that. And then, of course, Trump hired him as his labor secretary, because that's how you reward pedophiles. Pedophiles hire pedophiles. And then, of course, more victims came forward. Or, excuse me, not more victims, but they've been giving statements. So the family of Virginia Giuffre, who was one of Epstein's most well-known victims and the one that Trump apparently fought over with Epstein, because why is he fighting with Epstein over a teenage girl? Creepy. Creepy. So, they released a statement. Where's the statement? Okay, here it is. So, because unfortunately Virginia Giuffre committed, or, you know, so they say, in quotes, it was shocking to hear President Trump invoke our sister and say that he was aware that Virginia had been stolen from Mar-a-Lago. We in the public are asking for answers. Survivors deserve this. And that's all that CNN quotes, really. And then it cuts to Caroline Leavitt giving some bullshit answer. Wow. That's all they quoted. CNN is the worst. And then they quote more Trump stuff. Okay, finally. So they barely cover her statement, her family's statement, and then they say a little bit more here. Giuffre's family spoke out in a CNN interview. She wasn't stolen. She was preyed upon at his property, at President Trump's property. Stolen seems very impersonal. It's a very good point. Feels very much like an object, and the survivors are not objects. Women are not objects. She was preyed upon, and it certainly makes you kind of ask the question, you know, how much he knew during that time. Bravo, brother. Bravo for saying that shit. Because these folks are putting themselves at risk, especially when you look at what that absolute disgusting monster of a human being, Alex Jones, who, by the way, turned over a laptop in evidence during the Sandy Hook lawsuits that also featured child sex abuse material. Weird. And he just happened to have that on his computer. Weird how all these right-wing people who were so pro-Epstein files keep turning up as being people in the Epstein files or of that same crime family. Weird that. But good for him for speaking out, because seriously, they are at risk. And again, when you look at what Alex Jones did to the Sandy Hook family, they were tortured, they were stalked, they harassed, they had death threats, and they had to leave their own homes. And, you know, it's very brave these folks are speaking out. More power to them. We need to support them in any way that we can. So that's the statement from Virginia Giuffre's family. And then there's another lady. Oh, is this not the Annie Farmer? I have the video interview. Is this it? Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, okay. So she went on CNN to blast Trump for saying that the whole thing is a hoax. Saying his words are offensive. Yeah, Trump tried to say it is a hoax, she said, and that's just a way of things to divert attention to something. Oh, wait, no, that's Trump's statement, sorry. She says that the remark sends a terrible messages to the wider community about how seriously we take child sex crimes, and she's 100% correct. It's offensive. This is not a hoax. You know, there have been so many people that have come forward and shared their stories. I hate that it has been politicized the way it has, because I think we lose sight of the bigger picture in that. She is right. And, you know, I think this is really about people using their power to harm others, and that is not a political issue. So, again, brave of these folks to be standing out. We need to be supporting them in any way that we can because it's just a simple fact that they are in danger. And it's worth remembering that they're trying to frame Maxwell as the victim, which is utter horseshit because she participated. I don't even know if I can find this specific. Let's see. I want to see. I mean, this sounds terrible, but I want to see what the descriptions are of what she. I mean, I know, but I want to be as accurate as possible. Let's see. Mission official. The trials was emphasizing the pair's closeness. Prosecutor know that Maxwell. Oh well, here's the first thing. So, Trump is saying that Maxwell has vindicated him, basically, right? Because she put out a statement saying that she never saw Trump do anything unusual with or out of line or whatever with children under the age of 18 in her presence. Fun fact: she said the exact same thing about Epstein, which got her 2 perjury charges and more jail time. So, gives you an idea of how accurate her statement is. Described her as the house manager. Testified that Max gave staff, yada, yada, yada. Ghislaine controlled the girls, should be the one getting all the girls in check. She knew what Jeffrey liked. This was very much a joint effort. Okay, I'd have to do too much research and I don't have enough time on this live stream. But at the end of the day, the simple fact is that she was a knowing and willing participant in the Epstein crimes. The victims have said as much. They've said that she participated, that she was an active abuser, and that she was horrible and she tortured them. And it is no longer. This is something where we need answers to. This has become such a public issue, and it has become such a thing, especially with these victims never really getting justice. The files have to be released, and the Democrats have to run on that because we need to know what happened and how to get justice for these victims.